In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get a tank sending unit to communicate with your Cerbo GX. This is going to allow you to monitor the tank levels on your Cerbo touchscreen. So if you've got a Victron electrical system and you've got water tanks and you want to be able to monitor the levels of those tanks right on the touchscreen, then this video is definitely for you. So let's get into it. I think this is really the simplest way to monitor your tanks. If you've got a Cerbo GX, it's got 4 tank input sensors. Right here on the bottom left, it says tank 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to connect that to a tank sending unit. This is called a resistive tank sending unit. So basically when the water level's full, this float is up at the top, and then as your water level goes down, it is measuring the resistance on this and sending it to the Cerbo GX. There are several companies that make these sending units. They're available on Amazon in a lot of different lengths. We have a spreadsheet that we call our DIY van build material spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet lists all of the components and materials that we use in our van conversions that we've spent hundreds of hours researching and testing and finding the best products that work great in a van build. So if you want to access that spreadsheet, it'll make your life a lot easier. Then I'll put a link down in the description and also drop one right up here. So this is one that I really like by KUS. And this one is threaded with an 1.5 inch thread. Most of the tanks that you buy have a female 1.5 inch port. This will thread right into the top. You want the length of this to be about 1/2 inch to 1 inch shorter than the height of the tank. We use a lot of 36 gallon over the wheel well tanks in our van builds. Those are 16 inches tall, so we use a 15.5 inch tank sensor, and KUS makes this one that's threaded. They also have them that aren't threaded, that have screw holes and a gasket that you drill out and you put down in the top and screw them in. Those work great too. They're a little less expensive, but I find that these are just a really nice clean solution. Okay, so it's got 2 wires coming off of this, a pink and a black. The polarity does not matter on these, and so you can really hook these up to either one. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your wire and you're gonna strip it back. And I like to strip these quite a bit, like about 12 inches or so off of these. And by the way, these are absolutely my favorite wire strippers. If you're like me and you don't have great eyesight and it's hard to see the 16, 14, 12, 10 little numbers on those little ones that you have to line up, this one doesn't matter what size wire it is. It'll do up to about 10 gauge wire. And you just squeeze it and strip it back. It's great. And these are listed on our DIY van build materials list under tools. Okay, then I'm just gonna strip this back a little bit, about 1/2 inch on each of these. And then I am going to go ahead and connect this. And like I said, it doesn't matter which is which, but I'm just gonna connect the pink to the red and the black to the black. Okay, and these WAGO connectors are awesome. These are the inline ones. They also have this one that the 2 wires come out the bottom, and then they have a 3 WAGO and even a 5 WAGO. So these are great for interior of the van. On the exterior, we always use something like this that's a butt connector that you can heat up and shrink wraps and watertight. But for interior, these WAGOs are awesome. Now what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be connecting these wires into this little plug. I'm going to pull this out just so it's easier to see. And it's really best to use a ferrule when you connect these wires, because it can be really difficult to push these stranded wires into these connectors without the wires kind of fraying. And these connections are so close together that if you get a couple of strands of wire coming out and touching each other, then you're not going to get a good connection. The only problem is I have not been able to find any ferrules that are long enough to go into these little connectors and catch. Maybe there's some in Europe that are a little bit longer that will work, but I haven't been able to find any. So what I do is I strip these wires back just a little bit longer than the barrel of the ferrule, maybe 3/4 of an inch long, and I twist them, and then I put the ferrule on so that there's a little bit of wire, maybe 1/8 of an inch sticking out the end of it, so it kind of effectively extends the length of the ferrule. Okay, and I'm going to crimp this one on with a ferrule crimper, And I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Crimp that one on. Okay, so now you can see those are pretty long. I like to just twist the ends of them. You could also put a little solder on these to help them, but I find that this ferrule method works. I always put my fresh tank in input number 1, and that way it's just easy to keep track. When I go to program, I know that 1 is my fresh tank. So I just want to make sure what orientation this thing goes in, because it will only go in one way. It won't go in this way, it goes in this way. Okay, and then again, the polarity does not matter on these, so you just put one of the wires into the bottom one, and that locked in, and one into the top one like that, okay? So now I've got that connected. Now I'm going to show you how to program this. Okay, so I've got a servo connected up in this van. So I'm just going to unplug this, and I'm going to plug this one into the servo that's already connected. Okay, so now that that's all connected, I can show you how you program it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to go into integrations on this screen. And they keep updating the firmware on these, and these tend to change, but as of right now, it's under integrations. So I touch that, and then down towards the bottom says tank and temperature sensors. Okay, so I'm going to touch that one. And I just connected this to tank level input 1. So I'm going to enable tank level input 1. If I have things plugged into input 1, input 2, input 3, I would activate whichever ones I have. Once I've enabled that, I go back to the settings, and I go to devices. And under devices, now the first one that shows up, it says fuel tank, but it's just a default, okay? So it's defaulted to that. I want to go into that tank sensor, and I want to change the parameter. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go to setup. The first thing I want to do is I want to change the standard to US 240 to 30 ohm. That's the way the US ones measure. You want to order a tank sensor that says that it reads from 240 to 30 ohms. Okay, I activate that one, then I go back, and then fluid type, I'm going to change that. This is my freshwater tank, so I'm going to click that one to enable that. Now I want to change the volume unit, and I want to change that to US gallons. Now I can go and I can change the capacity, and this is a 36-gallon tank, so I'm just going to do that. Whoops, I went too far. To 36 gallons. There's some other things. There's custom shape. You can kind of play around with that to get a more accurate reading, but I find just the default shape that works fine for most tanks. All of the other settings you can just leave. There are a couple at the bottom, low level alarm and high level alarm. If you want an alarm to actually go when you get either full or empty, you can activate that. I usually don't. And now if I go on my screen under levels, that freshwater tank is showing up right here. Okay, and it shows as open circuit or disconnected at first, and it usually does that until you get some water in the tank. But if I move this like my tank is full, you can see this screen is slowly going up, and there it's reading as full. And then I can just slowly, if I was using the water and it was going down, let's just say I get down to about, it shows 89%. I go down here, it's slowly going down. And so that's going to give you a reading right on your screen. As you swipe through this, you have different looks on the screen. Right now my freshwater is now showing up here. It's empty, but if I was to raise this up to the top, that circle goes around and it shows my tank level right on the main screen. And then the next screen as I swipe, this is just my electrical system, but then if I swipe again, it shows the tanks, and it will show up to 4 tanks on this. So it's really nice to be able to have everything right there on one screen. I love this feature of the Cerbo GX. So it's really just as simple as that to get your tanks to show up on the Cerbo GX. So hopefully this video helped. If you are installing a Victron system and you want to have tank sensors on your tanks, I think this is the simplest, easiest, cleanest way to do it. Now, if you want to see more videos about van building, van build pro tips, tools, and product reviews, then please consider subscribing and be sure to smash that like button. And we'll see you in the next video. Jeff with Thrive Vans. Thrive on. See ya.